beautiful, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're gonna learn how to drape the silk sari in the navy style with an open pallu. So it's the easiest drape that you can do. Now, if you're a beginner and you've never draped a silk or a soft silk sari before, you're in the right place, because today I'm gonna take you through step by step on how to drape this gorgeous sari. If you're draping a satin silk sari, the steps are similar, but I'll link that video down below, so check that video out. But if you're draping kanchipuram, silk, soft silk, any of these, you're in the right place. Before you start draping, let's talk about basics. You're gonna need a crop top and a skirt to hold your drape. So the crop top doesn't need to be a crop top. I'm just wearing a super simple top because I wanted the sari to take all of the attention. But you can choose any top you'd like. If you want to show less skin, I recommend choosing a longer top, as long as it's easy for you to still tuck in the sari. Now, the undergarment or the Saree Silhouette, the petticoat that you choose, is super important. I'm wearing the Saree Silhouette from Bhuva.com, and if you're draping a sari like this one that's a little on the heavier side, then I highly recommend investing in a skirt that's gonna hold your entire drape together. Usually with a regular underskirt, you tie the drawstring really tight and it digs into your skin. So you want to wear one that has an elastic and a drawstring so that you can tie it as tightly as is comfortable and it still won't dig into your skin. So that's the basics. Now let's start with the drape. If this is your first time draping a silk sari, you're gonna wanna find the fancy end and the simple end. So the fancy end will look like this. You'll be able to tell very clearly because it has a lot of work and it just looks fancier than the other end, which is very simple in comparison. Usually the blouse material will be attached to this or it'll just be a plain end of the sari. You wanna start with this end of the sari. And we're hanging the pallu today, so there's no prep work, and that's why it's the easiest drape to do. So first up, you wanna make sure your underskirt is tied really tight because it's, again, gonna hold 6 yards of fabric. Before you even start your drape, you wanna wear your heels or whatever footwear you're gonna be wearing. So if you were to tuck in your sari without putting on your shoes, this is where you would tuck it. And then you go to step in to your shoes and you can see that it's clearly too short. And you don't want it to look like that. So always put on your shoes and then position your sari so that it's lightly grazing the floor and then tuck it in. That way, when you finish your drape, your sari will be the perfect height. Once you've determined where you want to tuck in the sari, you want to hold it against your body, and this is really important. You want to make sure that you're tucking it in as flat as possible. You don't want to scrunch, like this is how not to do it. You don't want to do that because you don't want any bulges here. So you want it to be as neat and as clean and as flat as possible. And you kind of want to just do that all around your body. Once you get back to the front, you want to just tuck in the sari here and then take the other end of the sari and bring it around you once and then put it over your left shoulder. You want to make sure that the end of the pallu does not drag. So usually I like my pallu to be really long and I will leave it kind of this length, so floor length or ankle length, but look what happens when I let go. It kind of just trails on the floor and you don't want that to happen. So what I suggest doing is kind of pulling it up to your knee, the back of your knee. So when it's at the back of your knee, you can see when I let go, it doesn't trail as much, and you definitely don't want your sari trailing on the floor when you go to events. So it'll be different for you depending on what your body proportions are, but I suggest testing out different lengths and seeing what you prefer. Once you're happy with the pallu length, you can just take your safety pin and pin it to your blouse. Once you've pinned it, let's put the rest of the sari onto your left shoulder. I'm going to hold the sari really tight and then pin it to the underskirt. I'm actually gonna put a button through my safety pin. This is so that the safety pin doesn't get caught in the sari and create a hole bigger than need be. You wanna take the part of the sari that's closest to you around the left side of your body, bring it in front, and now you have this big loop of fabric, and that's what you're gonna use to pleat. To start your pleats, you wanna bring the sari to the left side of your body, and you wanna start pleating here. This is so that the frontmost pleat doesn't open up when you go to tuck it, and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm just gonna start pleating. Super easy method of pleating, and you can check out my video on how to pleat. I'll link it here. Once you're done pleating, you wanna just shake out the pleats and then arrange the pleats so that they're slightly staggered. This is how you get that nice flared look in the bottom of your pleats. Otherwise, it just looks straight and it doesn't flare out beautifully. And I feel like that just adds that pro level to your drape. Okay, once you're happy with it, you can add a safety pin. And here I would just add the safety pin right to my skirt as well. You can add this pin to the inside, but if the sari isn't transparent, it's not gonna make that much of a difference because the pallu is gonna cover it. So I just like to add it on the outside just for safety. And then I'm gonna tuck it in nice and flat again. If you have any extra fabric here like I do, you wanna just lay it flat and then fold forward and tuck it in. When you are handling an open pallu, here are a few tips that you can use to really manage the pallu in a more comfortable way. So if you just let the sari hang like this and kind of create micro pleats along your hand, it just gives you those beautiful pleats at the bottom here. That way when you go to pose, it looks really nice and neat here, but it still has the open pallu. Some people like to add a pin here. You can actually pin all of these pleats to your blouse or even to your skirt. I personally don't like doing that because when I'm at an event, I like to just pick up the entire pallu and put it on my shoulder if I need both hands. But then when I'm posing for a picture, I can just let it hang and pose like that. And that way, when I'm posing for a photo, I can just drape it on my arm and it looks nice and neat and still has the open pallu. And that's it. It's really that easy. I find that most people are intimidated by silk saris because they're a little bit tougher to drape depending on the zari and how thick they are. But using these little tips and tricks, and especially a hanging pallu, it takes the guesswork out of having those perfect pallu pleats and also looks super elegant and effortless. I hope you enjoyed this video. On my last drape tutorial featuring a satin silk sari, a lot of you commented and mentioned that you wanted to see a beginner tutorial on silk saris, and so I wanted to do this for you. If there are any other materials that you're struggling with or you want to see me drape for beginners, let me know in the comments below and I will do that in the next round. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.